Alright, so I've been doing some thinking lately. I've been meaning to post this video for a while. I've just kept pushing it back. But more or less, this video's about what Wildstorm characters should be part of the regular DC universe since, you know, DC's been talking about that for the longest time. And I thought about 2 teams, 1 character, more or less, that should be part of the DC universe. I was going to put characters like the Authority and Deathblow, but I don't think they would have much of a purpose. Like, they couldn't find their way around in the DC universe. These 3 teams, well, these 2 teams and this group, this person can make it. Can probably find their way in the DC universe. Starting off with Gen 13. I would really like to see Gen 13 part of the DC universe, probably because I really think Gen 13 is my favorite independent superhero group. A group of teenagers with superpowers. I really think they'd fit really well into the DC universe because, you know, they have those powers. They're pretty much like the Teen Titans, only a little more grittier. And other than the Teen Titans and Outsiders, I can't really think of any other young superhero team. In Marvel universe, we got, you know, the Young Avengers, we got the Avengers Academy, we got the Runaways, we got all those characters. Not a lot of young superhero teams in the DC universe, so I think they would fit pretty well in here. I mean, I'd like to see them work with a lot of the DC characters. Like to see them team up with the Teen Titans a lot. And the other thing is that I've not only heard that they might go to DC, they might go back to Image, which would actually be a lot better because, you know, for those who don't know, Gen 13 was part of the Image universe. That's probably common knowledge, but I probably get a couple guys on here like, where did the Gen 13? I thought they were all Wildstorm. No, they were originally Image. Yeah, I think these guys could work pretty well. I like their powers. Like I said, they're my favorite independent superhero team. Second, for those who are thinking, because a lot of times when I talk about independent superhero groups, I talk a lot about the Authority. That's actually my second favorite independent superhero group. Gen 13's my first. So, yeah, I'd really like to see these guys, and I'd really like to see how they'd find their way around a world full of superheroes that don't really want to kill, or, you know, how they would really react to a lot of these DC characters. And, I mean, they've met Superman before in a crossover, so it'd be cool to, like, acknowledge that, hey, it's Superman, we met him before. So, yeah, I'm all for, if you want to pick another team, pick these guys. The next one is Wildcats. Now, Wildcats, I've loved. This is another superhero team that I've loved. I'd rank them at number 3 at favorite independent superhero teams. But I'd really like to see them either go back to Image or, yes, they are Image-owned too. But I'd really like to see them go, part of DC because they don't really have a lot of covert ops groups. And yeah, I'd really like to see the teams. I'd really like to see them fight. I'd like to see these guys go head-to-head with Slade's Titans, or, you know, if they take it to another angle, because I heard that the Titans are trying to all kill each other now. Or maybe I'd like to see them go head-to-head with the Outsiders or something like that. That would be kind of cool. That would be cool, and plus I'd like to see a covert ops team in, you know, the DC universe. And I'd also keep true to the whole Daxamite and Caribbean thing that the characters do, but I'd also have it like they're like soldiers of fortune for some parts. Like they'll do missions for hire and come in contact with other superhero teams like the Justice League and all them. So I think these guys would work pretty well. I'd really like to see some characters meet up. Like I'd really like to have Void encounter Brainiac. Like Brainiac wants to absorb her or take her information. I'd really like to see a fight between Batman and Grifter. No, better yet, a rematch between Batman and Zealot. A proper fight between Batman and Zealot, because I will forever hate that DC Wildstorm Dream War crossover of how, like, Batman died like a punk in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've talked about how Batman sometimes some writers overpower Batman a lot, but he came off, you know, the fight between him and Zealot was just a total ripoff. I would have liked to seen a longer fight and a more well-done fight. I mean, granted, it wasn't really Batman, it was more of a dream image. Trying to explain Dream War, more or less, is really hard to explain, but though the DC characters weren't really the DC characters, but it's really hard to explain. But yeah, in there, Zealot kills Batman in that crossover. Well, what looks like Batman. And, you know, I didn't really care much for it. And I'd really like to see a rematch, like a proper fight between Batman and Zealot. And, I'd also like to see, you know, like I said, Void encounter Brainiac, and maybe a fight between, what would be kind of cool is, maybe, I just had it, Grifter and maybe him encounter who was it? Oh, Wonder Woman, because he's sometimes. I just can't believe I was blanking out on Wonder Woman. Why I would say Grifter meeting Wonder Woman is because he's sometimes Cole Cash is just so chauvinistic, and I'd really like to see him try to make fun of Wonder Woman. She just punches him out. That'd just be awesome in my opinion. But yeah, I'd really like to see the Wildcats either like Gen 13 back in the DC universe or back in the Image universe. And finally, there's Mr. Majestic. Now, Mr. Majestic is the only one character I'd like to see part of the DC universe, Wildstorm character part of the DC universe. Now, I know he's been part of the Authority, Stormwatch, and Wildcats, but I think he'd fit pretty well in the DC universe, and he has been part of the DC universe before when Superman went missing, and he actually came from the Wildstorm universe into the DC universe and protected Metropolis for a short time. He is basically one of the two Supermen of the Wildstorm universe, Apollo being the other one, but this would be kind of cool because he was already part of the DC universe, so we'd already know what it'd be like. Although he is prone to kill, I think it'd be kind of interesting to see how he would react to being officially part of this DC universe after, like, forever. Now, like I said, it's only all talk that DC would, because they said they would use more of these characters in the future reference, or they might give them back to Image. I'm hoping they do either one of those two. I'm just hoping they just don't forget these characters. But yeah. But getting back to Mr. Majestic, I think he'd do really well part of DC universe. I think like eventually he'd be part of the. I think it'd be cool to see him actually on the Justice League, and see how the other characters would react to someone who has the powers of Superman and has he's willing to kill, and maybe he'd get along with some characters. I could see him working a lot with Wonder Woman or sometimes Green Lantern. But Batman wouldn't condone what he does, and I think Batman would consider him a threat. Someone whose powers are almost like Superman's, but he's willing to kill. And so Batman right off the bat would not trust someone like him. But I think it'd be cool to see him gradually earn the Justice League's trust, or him work on his own, and even be like kind of like part of the DC. The Superman family. It'd be cool to see him not wear the red and blue, but they'd accept him part of the family. Of the Superman family. So, yeah, those are my picks for Wildstorm characters that'd be be cool to see part of the DC universe. You guys tell me yours for those who are Wildstorm fans and fans of these characters. You guys tell me, would you guys like to see some of these characters back in Image, or would you like to see them part of the DC universe, and what characters would you want to see? So, yeah, go ahead.